Here we go. Connecting. Okay, good morning, everybody. How is everybody doing? Alex Chisnell here, along with Sabrina Stocker.
Good morning, everyone. How is everyone doing?
Well, I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm in Egypt. I'm rocking the tan as much as I can. And thank you, everyone, so much for joining. Please ask as many questions as you can. I'm sure Alex will go through about how to ask them. And it's going to be a really exciting hour.
Yeah, please do. So this is day 5 of Festival of Startups, brought to you by the Festival of Enterprise. I'm Alex Chisnell, content director here at the Festival of Enterprise and host of #1 rated entrepreneurship podcast, Screw It, Just Do It. And currently, Sabrina's interview with me last January, all the way in last January, is currently our second most downloaded podcast of 2020, which is really interesting, I thought. Just behind Huel as well. So Julian Hearn from Huel. And bizarrely, it was just a quirk of fate, got my Huel t-shirt on today. Good session for you today. We're going to be talking about why should people buy from you. As I say, I'm joined by Sabrina, who is founder of My Tennis Events, correct me if I'm wrong, co-founder of 2 PR and shoppingslot.co.uk, business coach, digital nomad.
I can
Put
take
yourself in that bracket there.
Yeah, you know what? I've got quite a few companies running at the moment, so I feel like I've got juggling quite a few balls at the moment, which is fun.
Yeah, that's what I can see. And again, Apprentice participant 2018, which Lord Sugar said of you that you had a natural raw talent for business. All right. Do you think you have exceeded his expectations in the last 2 years?
Yeah, I mean, The Apprentice, it seems so long ago now, but The Apprentice was so much fun. But I'm really glad I didn't win, because if I had won, I would have been, there would have been a lot of pressure for me to have expanded my tennis company. But actually, I've been able to expand it already. It's, prior to COVID, of course, the largest event in the UK for tennis companies, and I've been able to now try different things, venture on. So me not winning probably was the best possible outcome from the show.
Like it. And I can see people are still piling in, which is great. I've doubled the audience since we've literally gone live in 3 minutes. So do let anybody else know that you think is going to find value in today's webinar with myself and Sabrina. Just send them the link that you got to join us. And a little bit of housekeeping for you, everybody. So if you look at the right-hand side of your panel there, this is a brand new platform, AirMeet, that we've been using as well. So you've got 2 options to interact with us today. You've got the live chat button, so feel free to use that. I can see Bernadette, Louise, MBI Visual, so Malachi, Rob, a bunch of you posted up, which is awesome. Let us know where you are in the world. I'm here in sunny Poole. Well, it was sunny this morning. It's now grey and it's raining, and very different from where you are, madam, I believe.
I know. For anyone who's just joined in, I am from sunny Egypt. Really enjoying it out here. And please ask as many questions as you can for everyone who's just joined. I will do my absolute best to answer them all. I'm also going to do a bit of a competition with you guys. But if you take a picture of today, tag me on Instagram. My Instagram is sabrinastocker.r. If you want as well, you can tag Alex, Alex Chisnell. I'm going to be giving Alexander Chisnell. And I am going to be giving away a free coaching session to a random person who tags this and shares it on their Instagram, and purely just to get more people realizing that during this time they can do whatever they want, and this is such an amazing opportunity to do that. So if you're able to share it, potentially with a bit of knowledge of what you've done today, I will be giving away a free coaching session.
Love it. Didn't know you were going to do that. You just sprung that on me.
Spontaneous.
Cool. Good. And yes, so questions, you can post stuff in the live chat. And again, put some comments in there. People are doing it throughout the 4 days we've been going today. Comments in there, questions, connections. Look, this is, we'd normally be face to face. This time last year, reel back a couple of weeks, and we were actually at the NEC together with other humans interacting. So, you know, we missed those times. They will come again, but I do feel it is going to be a little bit longer that we're going to be doing this kind of thing, which is cool. It's the next best thing. So use this opportunity to connect. I'll post up my LinkedIn on here later as well. And just below the live chat, you've got a questions tab. Use that to post up the questions. That literally went off the Richter scale yesterday with all three of my guests, actually. And I will let you know how replays are going to be available. So we had Stepan Galiev, who was the investment director at Dragon's Den. Super interesting guy. Works with Nick Jenkins from Moonpig, Tej Lalvani, all those dragons. And then I had Stuart Chapman, who founded Draper Esprit. They invest £10 million a week into different startups. So that was a really interesting conversation. Someone had 30 years in the VC space. And then we had Piers Lenny, which we overran by about 90 minutes, which was great. So super excited to have Sabrina on today. So use those two buttons that I was telling you. You've also got, if you go down the bottom, you've got an emoji button as well. So people are banging, there's different reactions out there. Like you can probably see now you're getting light bulbs, you're getting hearts. Yeah, I can see other people firing on there as well. There's not a green one to match your dress, I'm afraid. You've only got blue, so gonna have to rock that in the meantime. So brilliant. Look, thank you all very much indeed for joining us today. As I say, I'm joined by Sabrina all the way from sunny Egypt. Go on, kill us. What's the temperature out there at the moment?
Probably about 28.
Nice. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. It was 11 degrees in the sea this morning when I went for my swim, which was painful, but it was an awesome sunrise, and that was worth it. So we are talking how important is it to develop. So this is So my angle on this is we are talking about why should people buy from you. Okay. My angle on this, one of my angles to this that I want to position to you is, how important is it these days, probably more than ever this year, given that the world is spending more time online, consuming more content on social media, podcasts, audiobooks, all that kind of stuff. How important is it to develop your personal brand if you want people to actually buy from you?
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you look at the amount of businesses there are now, you're never going to be different. And if you're that 1% who are the innovators, then yeah, you're going to be a bit different. But why are people going to buy from you? And especially now that we're not meeting people in person, your online presence is so important. So when you type your name into Google, what comes up? And there's three options of what comes up when you type your name into Google. Either what you want them to know, which is your personal website, your up-to-date socials, them telling them about you. Number two, nothing comes up, and you are invisible to Google. Or number three, somebody else with a similar name to you comes up. So there are your three options. And if you're trying to start an online business, if you're looking for an investor, if you're trying to scale your business, then they have to know, like, and trust the person that they're buying from, because they're no longer seeing you in person because you've got the internet because of COVID, we all had to isolate. So now is the most important time that we need that internet online presence, especially to develop your personal brand and to get people to really recognize who they're buying from rather than just a payment page online.
Yeah, and do you know what was interesting? Somebody, so a PR agency contacted me 2 days ago and suggested a client for my podcast. Screw it, just do it. And when I looked at the brand, they're turning over £80 million. So pretty big sized protein brands. And when I looked at the two founders of the business, let me do a little bit of R&D, and they both had about 120 followers on Instagram. And I was like, whoa. And I thought maybe that is why they've employed a PR agency to actually, start building a personal brand and try and expand the business. And how much of a relationship is there, do you think, between your personal brand and your business brand?
Well, it obviously depends on what industry you're in. So you either got, for example, I do business coaching on the side. So my personal brand is Sabrina. She's an entrepreneur. She helps other businesses scale. But on the side of that, I have a press agency, which helps people get into the press, obviously getting them online, getting things like Yahoo, Forbes, etc. So they're my two brands. So my personal brand leads into my agency in order to accelerate the agency. So you've got that one side that you're able to use both. On the other side of that, they could be purely buying into you. So for example, if you were an online fitness coach, therefore they're buying into you as a person. So then your personal brand is your whole business. So you've got to think, okay, am I going to either have my personal brand being my business, or am I going to have my personal brand which also helps accelerate my agency or my side business?
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. And tell us, for you, like your experience, say the last 2 or 3 years, what was before you started leveraging the likes of the press and TV and newspaper, etc., where was your personal brand and where is it now? And then we can kind of elaborate on that a little bit.
Amazing. So if I rewind, 5 years ago, I was a tennis coach, and I was like earning pretty good money. I was 20 years old. I was earning £40 an hour. I thought I was balling, and I was, every single day I'd go into David Lloyd. Everyone would say, "Oh, there's Sabrina. That's the tennis coach girl." And until and that got me through the doors because I had a tennis events company. So I utilized my personal brand to get me into all the other David Lloyds, the Virgin Active. So before the Apprentice, we were partnered with these really big organizations within the tennis company. Now I had to shift my personal brand from tennis player and tennis coach with a tennis company to someone who actually is able to do press and personal branding and business coaching and online subscriptions. So my personal brand changed from something what I used to do as a kind of a paid by the hour job to actually a successful business person. And having that whole shift probably took about 2 years. But now when people think of me, they think of shopping slot, they think of 2Comma PR, and they think of tennis rather than just the tennis girl.
Just tennis. Yeah. Because again, you could have, and it's interesting what you've done, and we'll talk more about 2Comma PR and shopping slots. But like you said, you could have been pigeonholed either as tennis girl, or you could have been pigeonholed as apprentice girl. And you see a lot of people being pigeonholed as apprentice person or Dragon's Den person, frequently. And how difficult was it, and how much of a conscious decision was it for you then when you came out of that window of the world looking at you, to actually take a look at that and go, do you know what, I love that, but that was that moment. I'm going to leverage the hell out of it, but I also need to back away from that and kind of expand the way people see me.
It's really easy to ride the wave, right? If you think of The Apprentice, you can probably remember the last couple of years of Apprentice candidates and a few of the other older ones, but everyone else kind of gets left behind. So I thought, okay, I want to utilize the branding from The Apprentice, because fortunately it came across really well from the TV. But I don't just want to be the apprentice girl. I generally want to be a very successful businesswoman. So therefore, I have to be very successful at business. So rather than spending all my time trying to make myself, I guess, famous or put myself onto different shows, I just spent all my time building up my personal businesses and my empire there.
Mm-hmm. Would you go on another TV show, by the way?
I would go on I'm a Celebrity, purely because it would be so much fun.
Oh my God, no, I wouldn't go on that show. I wouldn't go on that show.
I've eaten scorpions, I've swum with sharks. I'm a celeb I could handle.
All right, okay. I haven't looked at it this year because I was saying to my kids that last year, so I know James Haskell, so he was being on my podcast. He was on last year's. The year before, I know Fleur Reese, she was on. I was like, who do I know this year that was on there that I can find out what their experience is like? Because it's going to be a very different experience in a Welsh castle compared to in the Australian bush.
Sure.
So tell us a little bit about so what you've got up to since, and we'll kind of dig into a little bit more about why people should buy from you and how we can help people with regards to that. Any tips that you would give for people choosing the right market? And for you, maybe we can talk about shopping slot and relay that to that, and maybe the PR company as well, because those are two things that you've launched since lockdown. And we were just talking yesterday with, like I say, Stepan, Stuart, Piers, saying this year there's been a record number of people starting businesses, which I find super interesting anyway. You know, the fact that it's a lot of people looking from the outside in who aren't in business, aren't in entrepreneurship, saying this is the worst time you could start a business. But no, people see opportunity. You know, you've launched 2 businesses. I've launched a couple of different things as well. Tell us about your experience and why you thought that it was a good time to start a business and what was the right market for you to look at.
No, 100%. Like, the tennis company was very successful. We had 400 events a year. We had a team of 42 staff. It was really busy, but it was also all systemized or automated. So I wasn't really working so much because everything was flowing in the background. And obviously when lockdown came, you know, I had to refund tens of thousands of pounds overnight. I had to communicate to all my staff, all my venues. So it was a real like, okay, this has happened. What am I going to do about it? And I've got an amazing team, and my team are the absolute world to me. And we've got a lot of transferable skill sets. We thought, okay, how can I use my team and use all the skills and resources that I've built previously and bring them into like a new company? And one person contacted me called Jason, and he had this idea about Shopping Slot, which was everyone was struggling to get home delivery services to their door. So why don't we create an app which allows you to find out where your local deliveries are so that you can order in, kind of like a Sky Scanner but for Shopping Slot deliveries. And at the time, Jason had maybe 4,000 or 5,000 people coming onto the website every single day, and which was good. But I was like, right, we're going to make this bigger. So we went to all the press. We redid the whole website. We did the whole branding. I put my personal brand on the website, and we sent it to press. And within 24 hours, we had over 100,000 people on our site, and the whole site crashed. It was absolutely crazy. We were getting hundreds of emails a day, and we were just like, what just happened? And within 6 weeks of actually sending it to press, we had 500,000 users. We had 3 million page views. And, you know, now we've got to the 4 or 5 million point. But it was just crazy, crazy demand. And I think the whole reason why that was successful was purely a mindset shift. That, okay, what have we got currently within our skills and resources, and how can we use that to either create a new opportunity or to put our effort somewhere else? So that was the whole journey of Shopping Slot, and it was amazing and it was fun. But again, that was using my personal brand to get into the papers because they had a face that they could know, like, and trust. Whereas when Jason had done it himself and he didn't have a personal brand, they were like, well, who's this person, and do we trust the website?
Yeah. And at that time, like when you were looking at the market, was he, you obviously came on with him, was he looking at it as short term, medium term, long term? Was he even thinking like that? He literally just saw an opportunity and went for it?
Yeah, it was a very like, what's the problem right now? And it actually came because he was trying to get his nan a delivery slot and he wasn't able to. So then he just decided to have a bit of a play. So when you're thinking of starting a business, if you haven't started one, think about what the issues that you're having, because you're going to know your target audience more than anyone else if it's yourself, right? So if there's any issues that you have in your personal life or complaints that you have potentially to other services, then that always gives an opportunity to start something new.
And when that happened for you, and I remember seeing it because we did a couple of things together around that time. I could see it literally blowing up, and how busy you were. Did that pique your interest in the PR because you were getting so much PR? You literally went, I think, from one article to like about 30 in the space of a week, didn't you? Like all of the regionals picked it up, and then the nationals picked it up, etc. Did that pique your interest a little bit in the PR, and the two-kong PR was born out of that, or that's something that you've been looking at anyway and is a great vehicle to have to do exactly what we're talking about now, personal branding and with the business brand? There's about 5 questions in there, but I'm sure you can handle it.
It's probably a bit of a mixture of both, to be honest. Like when I come off the Apprentice, as you mentioned earlier today, it was like, cool, PR agent, we're going to go to this press event and this press event, but they weren't businessy events. So there was no one to do my PR as an entrepreneur rather than as someone from the TV. And then I saw the power of press with Shopping Slot. And I also saw this massive uprise on online CEOs, online coaches, online experts. So how exactly are you going to differentiate yourself from these online experts? And my background being in strategic marketing, I thought, well, actually, if we can create a product that allows experts to get onto the next level and become authority figures, that's really, really strong. And therefore, we created 2, PR. And the reason why 2, PR has blown up so much is because we've switched the normal model. So rather than paying for a PR agent's time, you pay purely for the articles. It's like getting on a plane. At the moment in the PR industry, you get on a plane, but you don't know the destination. You don't know which papers you're going to go into. You don't know what the article is going to be about. And it's really expensive. Whereas we've said, actually, it makes a lot more sense if you turn it into a product and then consumers actually know where they're getting. And we've done some like top 10 articles. It's been literally crazy, the results we've had. One person off a press article literally made 9K the next day from sales. And because of the low product offering that we had, we've just absolutely expanded and loads of people want to work with us. So if anyone is watching right now, send me a DM, just, I don't know, say the word press or Festival of Startups, and I'll send you some information. But now is such an important time to grow your personal brand. So if we could have that product to do it, it's kind of a win-win for both sides.
And interested to know what kind of people has it attracted then out of interest? Is it people who have got an existing business and they're looking to build a personal brand? Is it people who've already got a personal brand and they're looking to leverage that for business opportunities, or a bit of both?
It's a bit of both. It's either businesses who are about to do a huge launch and they're looking for the press release to get more people involved, to accelerate and start their personal brand. But on the flip side, we have some very successful CEOs who realize now how important their personal brand is, and they're spending a lot of money investing in themselves to close the high business deals. So it's really interesting, actually, both sides of the table, but with a completely different package offering depending on where they are within their journey.
And for you, I'm assuming you already had existing contacts in that space, or did you? Yeah, okay, so you did to get the ball rolling and then start spreading the network for other contacts.
Yeah, exactly.
Very good. Yeah, okay. And for you, like, if you are somebody thinking that they have got a product to launch, how would somebody go about launching that product, for example? Have you got a few steps? Like, I know you've just launched a couple. Maybe some tips you could give, kind of like a checklist, anything that comes to mind that would be really helpful. I mean, for me, I'll kind of kick the ball off here. I would say that you want to ensure you have a clear value proposition. So what a customer is going to actually get when they exchange money for the offer that you're putting out there. And I know that you've done a few webinars recently, so you've probably got a few tips that you can share with everybody. For me, I'm thinking, like, to start with, you want to ensure that, whether it's a product or a service, you want a really clear value proposition, i.e., what does somebody get when they exchange money for your product or service? Anything else you'd like to chuck into the mix that people could focus on, those who are coming up with a new product or a new service at the moment?
100%. Like, I guess the biggest thing is asking yourself the right questions. So starting a business, it takes a lot of time, right? And we want to do it in the most cost-effective and time-efficient way. So number one, defining who your audience are, and making sure that all of your value proposition, your product offering, your brand identity relates to that product. So for example, the name 2, PR, it's like a million, right? A million PR, the 2 commas. And something that translates to the audience potentially in a subtle way is really strong. And then analyzing where your time's going. So literally write a list, keep it simple, write a list of everything that you need to do in order to get to your end goal, and then just work backwards. And that is the quickest way that you'll move forward very quickly. And for example, let's take social media as a time management thing. if all of your ideal clients are hanging out on LinkedIn, then don't spend any time on Instagram. Just spend all your time on LinkedIn and have that kind of mindset throughout all of your business. So where is the minimum amount of effort that I'm going to get the maximum amount of results, and then use that. And that's going to make you to get to your end destination a lot more quicker. The second thing I'd say is to be really bold. Like, just do it. Just stop thinking about it. Just go for it. Because the worst thing is you're going to be in the same place as you were yesterday. So for us, for example, we're looking at ambassadors. I was like, okay, let's do it. Got a girl in. She made $1,500 in the first week as an ambassador for us, which was amazing. Okay, let's get somebody else in. Now we've got 4 ambassadors, and just keep building it with momentum and find out what works and spend all your time and energy there.
Yeah, nice. No, I'm always the same. I always literally just say, if you can come up with your goal, if it's a monetary goal, if it's a number of customers that you want, whatever it is, if you can actually, envision that end result that you want for this new product or service launch, and then literally reverse engineer the process, like you say, just do a brain dump on a piece of paper, or one of the bubble, however your mind works, whether it's how it responds best to learning. Do that, and then just break it down into tasks that you can actually tick off. And if it's
I'm really curious, actually, everyone watching this, if you just put a 1 in the chat if you think you overthink things within your business before you actually do them, because that probably was my biggest thing previously, was just thinking, or a 2 if you think you've got that sorted. But honestly, just do it. Just stop thinking about it and do it. And also stop looking at other people for answers, because it's just an excuse for delaying the process. If you're more bold, if you want to create a big business fast, you're not going to do it from tiny steps.
What you really want to say is screw it, just do it, don't you, Sabrina?
Yes, there we go, Alex.
I actually got Rowena Bird from Lush to say that on Monday without any prompting whatsoever. So I was like stoked, like the founder of $1 billion business has just said, screw it, just do it on my podcast. Thank you very much. Right, I've got loads of questions coming, which I will indeed get to. So thank you all for joining us today. Love doing these live webinar podcast sessions. It's great to get some interaction, and that is it's a massive trend at the moment in the podcast industry for people to be doing these live anyway. That overthinking thing. I mean, I always and I see it time and time again with people who I help when it comes to creating a podcast for an entrepreneur or a brand. It's 80-20 rule every time. And I'm like, don't worry about getting everything right, all your ducks lined up in a row, about being 100%. If you've got 8 out of 10 of your ducks lined up in a row, go for it, and, handle the other 2, line the other 2 up as you're launching, because nothing's perfect. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. You're not going to go from A to B in a straight line anyway. You're going to zig. You're going to zag. So embrace that. That might not be how you've been brought up. That might not how you run your life. But it's going to be a little bit disorganized. There is going to be some chaos in there. It's not going to be 100% perfect. And I think you've just got to embrace it and roll with it.
100%. Just be bold. Stop thinking about it and just get on with it. That is the biggest amount of advice. And obviously it's good to come to webinars like this, but it's not good unless you put action towards it, right? So what I want you to do, and you can message me saying that you've done this, and I'll go through it with you after message me on Instagram. That's the easiest way to get hold of me. Get your list done and just tick something off every single day, and you're going to be one step closer to your business accelerating, scaling, launching, whatever that could be. But keep yourself accountable, because no one else is going to do it for you.
No, and same as you. I just think, if it's one thing a day you can do, and it can be as simple as researching a website, it can be as simple as sending one email, it can be as simple as making one phone call, attending one webinar. Just that one thing will bring you closer to goal. You'll start building up this thing called momentum, and when you do build up momentum, you will literally be unstoppable. It's those people who don't actually start that don't build up momentum, so you won't actually get anywhere. Exactly. Right. Wow, we've got a really good audience now. I'm just looking at everybody. We've got loads and loads of people on here, which is awesome. So thank you for watching live, everybody, and continue to add your comments, connections, and questions. Thank you, N. Austin, who says, Alex, this format only works if there is energy in the host and the speaker. There is great energy from both of you. Great. Thank you very much indeed. Yeah, we always bring the energy, don't we?
I think so. I think we work really well together.
I think we do. Okay, so loads of stuff going on. So, okay, let me dive into this to get some reaction. So, yeah, N. Austin, who is the principal at the Cloverleaf Advisory, says, Sabrina, please send me some details on the press article. Sounds like an interesting approach.
If you guys want any information, please just send me a DM and be like, Sabrina, respond. Just message the word Festival of Startups because I know where you're from. Just go onto my Instagram right now and message me because in the nicest possible way, I am really, really busy. I'm flying to Dubai tonight. So I will find time. But tonight, yeah, exciting times. So I will find to respond, but just I get so many DMs, message me, Festival of Startups, and I'll make sure that I respond to you, I promise. But do it now so you don't forget.
Yeah, you'll get back to them early next week is what I would probably caveat, given that you're flying today and you've got a weekend. You
go to www.2comapr.com/blueprint. You can get a free personal branding blueprint, which is like an amazing resource. It's super simple, super easy. So that's 2comapr.com/blueprint, and you'll get your free personal branding blueprint. And you can literally just work through that as kind of your 8-week course to yourself.
Cool. So Samantha at findingstartups.com is the founder there, says, is there a danger of relating your personal brand with your business brand if your personal brand is not strong enough? I will get Sabrina to answer that. I mean, I would say the best time was yesterday, the next best time is today, yeah?
100%. Like, if you have a business brand and your personal brand, then obviously, first of all, you want to focus on your business brand because that's your core product offering. Your personal brand feeds into that, and it takes a lot of time to build up a personal brand. If nobody is ever going to know who you are with your business, it doesn't make sense to work on your personal brand. But if people are going to know that you are the owner and you're proud of the owner and you're going to speak to that client, then slowly building up your personal brand is never going to hurt.
Yeah, agree. So Bernadette from Inside Out Drinks, who I know has been watching throughout the week, as I can see, you got a really colourful profile there, which catches my eye each time. So she says, my business is organically growing since we launched in lockdown in June. However, it is a lifestyle drink that targets your liver and dramatically reduces hangovers. Would you market hangovers or would you go down the lifestyle route? Any advice? Great question. Thank you for that. You've asked great questions all week, I have to say, so thank you.
Well, the first thing I would say is I'm actually writing a PR piece right now, which is going to go to press to do with the food and drink industry. So just message me and I'll send you the details. I'd say you've got to think about your audience, right? Because people aren't going out and drinking right now. So therefore, a hangover cure probably isn't what they're going to need because all the nightclubs are closed. So unless you're targeting people specifically to house parties, which we can't be having anyway, maybe it's better looking at the health side of things to get people more active, more healthy, because health is a massive topic at the moment. Whereas recovering from nights out at this moment in time probably isn't the best market to go for.
Yeah, and I agree. And I do think, obviously, you can target both of those to a certain degree, but it's like when that comes again. You know, a friend of mine here, Ty, who owns a big nightclub in Bournemouth, made national press yesterday with this, you know, plea for funding from the government to help the nighttime economy because there aren't any nightclubs open, there aren't any pubs open, and as Sabrina says, you can't legally have house parties. So I would definitely go, and there's such a huge movement towards healthy lifestyle that's happened during lockdown. You know, like these guys, Huel, Grenade, I had Al Barrett on, all of these guys have been killing it during lockdown because they've got healthy lifestyle food and drink businesses, especially the direct to consumer model as well. So yeah, I'd double down on what Sabrina says, and I would definitely, go down the lifestyle route, because people are looking to make all sorts of changes in their life, focusing on themselves, what they can do for the benefit. Hey, look at me swimming in the sea every morning. I'm doing yoga every morning. These are all things that I started during lockdown. So I would say hang your coattails on that, Bernadette, 100%. Tennis related one from Kasim, who says, how has COVID affected your business? I'm a member of a tennis club which is now closed. What advice would you give to anyone who is running a business that is closed for business right now? Good question.
I mean, the tennis company literally stopped overnight, and we did a few events, but we were at like 10% capacity compared to normal. The biggest advice for anyone who has a currently closed business is to make it as lean as possible and look at your cash flow model. So the reason why my tennis company will be okay after COVID is because we have all the money coming in, or the majority of the money coming in, before it goes out. Alex, am I lagging slightly?
Tiny bit. It's just, yeah, it's just your video's just, which is fine.
Okay. So try and get your cash flow model to be as lean as possible, because then you're going to be able to start it up again. So cut everything that you can, look at how you're spending your money, and look at saving the business by being cost efficient. That's probably the biggest thing I'd say will help short term.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm a member of tennis club as well, David Lloyd as well, and fingers crossed that reopens again in 2 weeks. Okay, some more questions here. Okay, yeah, so that was a repeated question that I had before. Let me come back on. Ollie Brennan from JobSphere says, what's the best way to utilize your personal brand to get meetings with C-level prospects? I've got 1,000 people on LinkedIn in this category, but just want to get started. Great question, Ollie. Great question.
Really cool question. So LinkedIn, first of all, you want to make your look at yourself, right? So is your profile optimized? And are you putting regular content that's going to start a conversation? I've literally started my new LinkedIn strategy this week, and I put my first LinkedIn post, and I had like 20,000 views, which was awesome. But you've got to think, what are you putting yourself out? Like, what are you putting on LinkedIn to make people want to engage with you in the first place? And the second place is just drop them a message and find a way to connect. And for example, I've got the blueprint, right? It's a great way for you to see what kind of value that my company can bring. But you're not asking for anything in return. You're just putting yourself out there. So it's probably a mixture of making sure your personal profile is optimized, the content that you're putting out is optimized, so you're actually creating that interaction, and just spending the time messaging people and finding out if you can help them. And if you can help them, then amazing.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, you probably get this as well now, but you get hit by so many people who call themselves LinkedIn coaches. That's like a growing industry, I see. My inbox full of. But yeah, for me, I just get so many messages from people who get it so wrong to start with, because they're trying to sell to me, and I'm not on LinkedIn to be sold to. And for me, it's if you can offer something, like Sabrina said, if you can offer something, you've given me an idea, actually, something, one of my checklists that I can offer with podcasting on there, which I haven't got on there, which I'm going to do. But yeah, offer something, offer to help by giving them something for free, some resource. Think of your ideal client. Again, everything comes back to, your ideal client, and think, what are their pain points and what can you provide? Like Sabrina said, is it a template? Is it a checklist? Is it some kind of PDF? That's free. They can't get anywhere else. Maybe make it a little bit exclusive to that platform.
Yeah, and I guess also just don't sell to them. Like, I'm coming on here, I'm not selling you anything. What I do in the background is I make people authority figures by blowing them up through personal branding and through press. That's what I do, but I'm not on here to sell to you. If you want to work with me, great, let's do it. If you don't, then that's okay. And you've got to have that approach when you're speaking to people. Don't go in with an expectation. All I want today to provide is just loads of value. And if you like me and you're still on this call, amazing. Maybe we'll work together in the future. But if you've got no interest in you know, making being famous on the internet or blowing up your personal brand, then I'm sure that's okay. Like, you've got to have that approach when you're speaking to people. It's like it's like going dating, right? So if you go up to somebody in a coffee shop, you just spark a conversation with them, but you don't go straight in for the date, because otherwise they'll be thinking, oh.
Is that what you've been doing out there? Is that what you've been doing out there in the coffee shops?
Unfortunately, I'm very single, but just think of it as something playful. And if they like you, they're going to work with you one day. It's as simple as that.
True. And look, I've literally had somebody come through yesterday, new podcast coaching client, and he attended one of my events. I reckon it's over 2 years ago. It might even be 3 years ago. And yet they've, you know, followed me on social media. They've listened to my podcast. And then when I've literally just launched a new product last week, you know, which is a new podcasting course and coaching program, that was the moment for him to do it. So it is really interesting. People can take, you know, you don't, not necessarily going to buy right now. They continue watching you, continue consuming your content. So like Sabrina was saying, you know, work out what you're going to be putting on LinkedIn. How does that relate to your ideal customer? What kind of content are you going to be putting out there? And I think a lot of people get hung up on, you know, worried about, do I have to create some new content now? Well, you don't always have to do that. You can literally, the easiest way to do that is just to document what you are already doing. People are interested in what you're doing. So document the journey that you're on, whatever type of business that you're in. If you're launching a new product or service, I know you've just done that, document it. People love to see behind the scenes stuff. They like to see who is engaging. You can build, you know, that kind of a hype around it when you're getting sales coming in for it. You're showing them the behind the scenes stuff. So there's loads you can do. Just don't overthink it. We kind of come back to your point before. Do not overthink it.
100%.
Right.
And guys, please ask as many questions as you can. I know that we've got quite a few coming in, but this is your time. Like, I don't come on many podcasts. Or kind of air meets, I guess. To ask whatever you can, and I will do my best to reply to everyone.
Great. And Ollie follows that up by saying, amazing, thanks. Do you think using the video feature on mobile could be a good approach to stand out when reaching out?
Yeah, if you've got the time, voice note, send a message. The difference will be that they'll know it's actually specifically to them. If I get a message coming through saying, hey Sabrina, I've got this amazing free personal branding blueprint. I'd love to share it with you. Here's the link. Let me know how you get on. Compared to just a message saying, hi, here's a free blueprint. Which one am I going to look at, right? And it's about sparking curiosity. And if you can spark curiosity, then they're going to pay attention. There's so many messages that they're going to get through. What's going to make them curious about you? Yeah,
100%. Rob, who's security and safety advisor for R&B Executive Protection. That sounds like a really interesting line of work. Rob, I'm guessing I am both a personal brand and a business brand. I am unable to offer personal security online, but I can offer safety support online. Which brand is more important? This is my dilemma. Sabrina, I have not forgot about the program, by the way.
Amazing. Well, when it comes to personal security, I don't care if you've got an Instagram following or if you've got a LinkedIn following. I purely want to know that you do a good job. So that's to do with building up your personal relations. And I probably wouldn't go with somebody anyway who is massive on LinkedIn or personal branding, because if I needed security, I don't want a massive name next to me. I don't want someone else to recognize them in the street and then come over. So that I would say your brand is more about your in-person connections rather than your online presence.
Very good. Thank you very much. I'm just moving that to answered. Let me dive back into the chat. Yeah, Rob says, can I ask what are C-level prospects? So you're looking at like C-suite executives, essentially, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Ollie's, Rob's. Thank you very much, everybody. Okay, Louise Cologne, director and founder of Country and Coastal Retreats Limited. Good question. Do you believe corporate retreats are great for startup businesses? as well as established businesses. I like what you're doing there. Do you think it helps to build a strong team or workforce?
Yeah, I mean, Louise is amazing. I know her retreats, and she's basically creating a model for kind of retreats going away, both for the corporate world and for startups. And they're two very different models. So if you're looking to have more that one-to-one connection and the team building and something nice, then you're definitely going to go for the smaller teams. Whereas if you're going to go more corporate, it's going to be a lot more professional, a lot more personal. The team probably won't be as close. So it really depends on the market that you're going for.
And for you, I was doing another podcast earlier this week with somebody else, and we're looking at the power of leveraging social media, but how few people actually, due to the algorithms, actually get to see your organic posts. 3-4%, whatever it is. But in the research, it was something like the average person has 330 followers on Facebook. The average person has 150 followers on Instagram. If somebody is literally at that early stage, which somebody started following me yesterday, and they literally had, I think, like 70 people, and obviously it's a new profile, it's a new business that they're doing. What are some of the tips and tricks that you've learned along the way? Because it can be daunting, yeah? Somebody could look at it and go, I've got 0 followers. Where do I begin to start, building a following? How do I get people to follow me, to connect with me? We talked about content a little bit. We could talk maybe a little bit about profile optimization, things like that. Over to you.
First question I would ask yourself is, why are you wanting to build a following? Because if you want to have a large following, like you could have, there's a lot of influencers out there, right? Who have, 100, 200,000 followers. And I know for a fact that they are not making any money. Whereas you can get somebody with 1,000 followers on Instagram and they're making more money because they know how to use it. So number one, it's not focusing on the number of followers, it's focusing on the quality of followers. Number two, are you doing it for a bit of fun, or is there an actual reason what you're trying to do? Are you trying to inspire people? Are you trying to build brand presence? Are you trying to promote your own course? And number three, each platform has a different strategy. So if you look at Instagram, it's about someone getting to know you, having a bit of fun and entertainment. If you look at LinkedIn, it's a little bit more serious about giving value, same with YouTube. So depending on what you want to do, your social media is purely a way and another way for people to find out about you, unless you're specifically an online coach, in which case, you've got to have a bit of an online business as well. But I'd say definitely target quality followers by putting out something fun, entertaining, see what everyone else is doing and choose the best bits of what they're doing and create a bit of a product. You can't recreate anything anymore. Like, there's always going to be a 30-day challenge. There's always going to be going live every single week or having webinars. But what are you going to do within your personality which makes it different to somebody else?
Look, what do you like? Who do you follow? What do they do that you like? And model that. I'm not saying directly copy it, because it won't work. It's a different audience. It's, what makes you unique is you. So, let that shine, let your personality come through. It's something that I know I don't do enough in my posts as well. So think about that. I always say, dream 100 list, literally put down the 100 people, and it doesn't have to be 100 to start with. Start with 5 people, 10 people, but who do you like? Who do you follow? What do you like about them? Look at the posts they're putting out. What is getting the most engagement? What is getting the most comments, the most shares, the most likes? Have a look at all of that kind of stuff and process that and make that work for you. N. Austin says, Sabrina, could you elaborate on what you're expecting from your new LinkedIn profile? Also, what is new about it? Nigel Austin.
Amazing. So I run 2.PR, which is basically a press agency who gets online CEOs, entrepreneurs, blows up their personal brand and gets them in the press. But I spend all of my time on Instagram, whereas actually ideal audience probably is hanging around on LinkedIn. And I have, it's a bit of a joke, but I have, I don't know, 8,000 connections. I have probably about 2,000 people who I yet haven't accepted. So my thoughts are, okay, I just need to start using it, right? And if my first post on LinkedIn in months can get 20,000, then what else can I do? So my aim for LinkedIn is to be putting content out there. And for me, I love economics and I love behavioral economics. So I'm just going to rant about how behavioral economics affects business, right? That's what I like. I'm a bit of a geek. So that's what I'm going to talk about. And people are engaging in that. And I'm going to be saying my story about how I sold everything and moved to Egypt, now moving to Dubai. And I've got a company that's, due to do freaking amazing in the first year. That's my story. That's what I want people to engage with. But on the plus side of that, I'm not even doing anything. And I'm getting people asked to get them featured in the press as well. So ultimately, it's to utilize my personal brand on LinkedIn to create more leads, which are generally going to really help people for press. It's as simple as that.
And another question is, there's a lot made of LinkedIn. How much business do you both get through LinkedIn directly or anybody else on the chat? Or is it more for business networking? I mean, I can only speak for myself. I'd say I probably get, if you look at all of those different social media channels, I would say probably it used to be 100% LinkedIn, and that's me making podcasts with different brands. So they would see the content that I was putting out on LinkedIn. We're releasing this new podcast that we're just releasing now, one for Acorn, which is the sister company of Seedlip, the non-alcoholic drinks brand. So I would be talking about that on my LinkedIn profile, and then I'd be getting messages saying, we're interested in launching a podcast. Could we organize a chat? And I would have, like a link to my Calendly where they could directly book a call with me, that kind of thing. I would say since I've only started on Instagram about a year ago, and I'm getting more now coming through for Instagram, and that's just a reflection again of me spending more time in there and trying to manage those relationships, I guess. Yeah, how about you?
I mean, mine's purely been from Instagram, purely because I don't check my LinkedIn DMs.
Yeah.
But if I actually go on LinkedIn, I think I know for a fact I'll be very successful from the fact my DMs are already flooded from a post. So for me, my personal aim, and you're going to see more of this, is to be more active on LinkedIn. But if you're really spending the time thinking, should I go on LinkedIn or not? Ask yourself the question, is your ideal audience on there? Yes or no? And that will give you your answer.
Yeah. And I had Stephen Bartlett on from Social Chain chatting, and he was saying he likens LinkedIn at the moment is calling like a gold rush compared to, say, when Facebook started or Instagram started. He said you won't get penalized, basically, is what he was saying, with the quantity that you put out there, whereas some other platform, you might get a restricted reach by the algorithm. The way the algorithm is working on LinkedIn at the moment is he thinks it's a bit of a gold rush. There's a massive opportunity here at the moment for people to dive in, and you can see what these companies are doing. You see LinkedIn just started with stories. It's pretty clunky if you look at the interface at the moment. It's pretty horrible when you're trying to use it, but they're clearly going to be trying to improve that. And then you see Reels on Instagram, and they're just copying that from TikTok. So they're all I don't know what the phrase is, just copying each other, aren't they, really? Seeing what works and trying to implement it on their own platform. So have fun with it, play around with it, see, and it all comes back to, like Sabrina said, who is your ideal customer, your ideal client? Where do they hang out? Where do they spend their time? And you need to be doing exactly the same. You need to mirror their behavior.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome, Nigel. No problem. So we are coming to the end. What haven't we covered, Sabrina? What haven't we covered?
I'd probably say, you've got to think, what is your current priority? And we are how many weeks away? 6 weeks away, which is a bit crazy, from 2021. If you are an online business owner, if you have an online-based business or you're online coach, you've got to think how you're going to differentiate yourself and make yourself an authority in your industry. And that's about setting up your funnel right. So what exactly are you putting out there? Are you being active on socials? Which socials are effective for you? Have you got a personal website coming up? Once you've created this brand identity from yourself, and if you look at the 2comapr.com/blueprint, download that. It will have all your answers there. Create your brand identity, build up what your offering is, whether that's your emails or your free product, like the blueprint. How exactly are you going to give value? Free webinars. Okay, what are you doing after that? Cool. I've got a personal branding course that you can sign up to, or I've got a press article that we might be able to get into you. What's after that? Your one-to-one coaching. So really look at the way that you have set up your online business so that the time actually leads to a successful output, rather than spending all this time and you've actually, let's say you spend 20 hours a week on socials and you blow up, but you've got nothing in the background. All of that is wasted energy. So it's all about creating a process. It's all about systemization, and get it started straight away, because it takes up time. So rather than thinking about it, screw it, just do it. Do you like that?
Got you. There you go. That is the soundbite. Okay. Okay, I'm just posting up now. 2comapr.com/blueprint. Done. Yep. There you go. And I just checked it by going online. And that is the correct one. So there you go. Cool. Well, listen, if there's a last question, yeah, Lucy, I read your mind. If founder of Weston Jones says, could you put the link in the chat? Please, just done it. So there you go. And like Sab said, easiest way is just to go to her Instagram profile and send her a DM on there. But remember, she is flying tonight. How long a flight is it from Egypt to Dubai? Can't be far, can't be long.
So it was like triple the price, but worth it. So we have to fly from Sham to Cairo and Cairo to Dubai, and we'll be there from tomorrow morning. And we're very excited because we've got a lovely little apartment in the marina. If anyone's in Dubai, feel free to come say hello. I know you're going to be coming and visiting me out there, Alex, purely just to see me, of course.
Of course. Right. Exciting times, everybody. Escaping the British weather, indeed. But as Sabrina said, it's literally 6 weeks to go. It's nuts. I did a podcast episode last Saturday, and it was like less than 50 days to go till the end of the year. I mean, it focuses your mind. And again, my advice is don't try and do absolutely everything that is on your 2020 to-do list, because you ain't going to get it done in 4, 5, 6 weeks. But if you focus in on one thing that you want to accomplish between now and the end of the year, you should be able to accomplish it. You really should. If you put your mind to it, there's no reason why you can't do anything in 30 days, I think. So thank you, Nigel. Full of energy and interactive. One of the better live webinars I've joined.
Woo!
Thank you both for the insightful session. Michael Lorick, Online Design Limited, you're all very welcome. And remind us, competition, before we go, we've got 2 minutes.
Yes.
We're not going to get cut off anyway, but yeah.
Amazing. If you have enjoyed this session, which I hope you do, or have, take a quick picture of myself. Alex, what's your Instagram name? Because it's different, isn't it?
Alexander Chisnell.
Okay, tag myself, tag Alex, and I'll be giving away a free coaching session to somebody. I will be announcing it this evening. Just as you're live, I'm not going to do it to anyone who watched the replay, so should have been here live. And I'll be sharing it. And if you can, just say something that you've taken from it or that you've enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed talking to you. Hopefully we've answered as many questions as we can. But please utilize the next 6 weeks. Get something done. Be proud of it. Tell everyone that you're doing it, and just go make some moves.
Absolutely, make some moves. I can see people are still joining the webinar now. So the live webinar, I did see a message earlier, I think from Sarah, on here that it is going to be on the Festival of Enterprise YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube, Festival of Enterprise, you'll be able to see all of the replays from this week. So the likes of Piers Linney yesterday, I had Brendan Kane, who built the social media profiles of Rihanna and Taylor Swift. He was awesome. Spoke to him the other night from LA. We had Rowena Bird from Lush, billion-dollar business. I had Anthony Fletcher from Grays. I've had some awesome guests this week. And yes, this has been high energy, as I would expect. We've got some great comments. Lucy West says, a great session. Thought you were brilliant on the Apprentice, Sabrina. Great energy. Bernadette, really enjoyed this. Thank you, Sabrina. Safe flight to Dubai. Malachi says, thank you for this. Great advice. Michael says, thank you both for this insightful session. You are also welcome. So, just to finish up, we've got virtual networking happening at 11:30 for half an hour before our next session, which is me. I'm going to be hosting Claire Warner, who is the co-founder of Acorn Drinks that I was talking about earlier. We've got also got Tara Lalvani, who is the wife of Tej Lalvani from Dragon's Den. She's just launched first business called Beautific, and we've got Louis Barnett as well. So that's going to be coming live at 12. We're talking branding, social media, and we're having a bit of a cheeky non-alcoholic cocktail at 12 o'clock as well from Acorn. So join us then.
Amazing.
Safe flight.
So much for having me, Alex. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. Don't be shy. Drop me a DM, and have an amazing rest of the Friday.
Yeah, happy Friday, everybody. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you.